We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag We Gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out episode 2, the one where we talk about studio leakage. I am one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how's it going tonight, man?
Going pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, doing well. I was telling you off air that I've been doing a puzzle all day, so my eyes are a little bugging out of my head. So it's going to be it's actually weird that I want to go to a screen because I've been off and on with a puzzle for my eyebrows. So
I think staring at the polka dot background is not going to help, but we'll see how this goes.
Right. I'll try not to look directly into the soul of the white dots.
I still get lost looking at those, so I can't really stare at them. Like I'm doing it right now, and I'm seeing colors. I might need to switch that for the next episode or something.
Yeah, let's see. So I just want to say hello to the people in our YouTube live chats. We've got Zeddy, we've got Cindy, we've got Grabs, we've got Eric Summers, we've got Cookie Monster and Juan already in the comments, guys. Thanks so much for joining us so early on, and enjoy the chats and let us know if you have any comments, questions, anything like that. So we're going to start off the show like we do every single week, and we're going to be talking about what we read, what we watched, what we consumed this week. Chris, what'd you get up to this week, man?
Before we do that, Cindy had a comment that made me giggle from as soon as we started.
All right.
Studio leakage sounds like an STD or medicinal side effect. Now, what's funny is when Emmet asked me, should we call it this, he didn't put studio in front of it.
Nope.
So the original title of this episode was actually the one where we talk about leakage. I was like, I don't think we can call it that.
Chris shut it down pretty quick. He didn't even think about it.
No. We are very collaborative, but sometimes we cannot just have leakage. So. Okay, moving on from leakage. Actually, I consumed quite a bit of stuff this week.
Nice.
As far as like movies, TV go, I watched the entire series of Wolf Like Me on Peacock. There's only 6 episodes. They're about 25-ish minutes long. So I dedicated my last night and some of this morning to that. I watched The Last Duel, which will be the last time I ever watched that. Zing.
I was gonna...
And then Encanto, which is a beautiful film. If you have not watched it, go watch Encanto. It's beautiful. And then on the reading side, I read a lot of Spider-Man still. I finished off Spider-Man Blue, and I also read Rain, #1. After I think you were raving about it, and so was Cookie Monster. I had to check it out, so I read that.
Nice. I watched Encanto today as well. I put it on while I was doing the puzzle, and my son and my wife and I watched it. It's good. It's a nice, I don't want to say it's an easy watch too. It's not very long. But yeah, it's really, really, really well. And I guess it made me think of just, of Coco, obviously because of the Spanish influences of it and the musical aspect of it too. But yeah, Encanto was great fun for sure.
It was. We don't talk about Bruno, but we will talk about that movie.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining.
I was going to say, I saw the I don't know if it was a meme or just the conversation on Twitter just about the Bruno song before I even knew what it really was. And my son is like, who's Bruno? Who's Bruno? I'm like, but I'm sure we're going to find out soon.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, like, I watch a lot of TikToks, as does Cindy, who's in the comments. And you cannot escape that we don't talk about Bruno's song on TikTok. It is everywhere. Okay. And I didn't know what it was. So like, what is this thing? And then when I saw them, I was like, oh, okay, so this is how it fits in. Also, Bruno is voiced by John Leguizamo, who is one of my favorite, like, smaller actors. So it was just really cool to have him in a Disney movie of all things.
Yeah, he did. He didn't really. Usually, when like a voice actor who was popular or a big name kind of maybe takes you out of it a little bit. I didn't feel that with him at all. He felt like he was really, really going in for the role and his role as Bruno. I thought he did really well. I think he's probably like the biggest name in the movie too. I think the rest are more small actors, voice actors.
Well, the main character's voice, I can't remember her name, but the actress who is in Brooklyn 911, Beatrice something. No. If anybody in the comments knows. But anyway, Grab says he doesn't know what we're talking about. Encanto is a new Disney film about a Spanish family who they have a candle that gives them powers.
Yeah, they're called gifts. They have gifts.
Right, like not like X-Men gifts, but gifts.
Yeah, that's right.
And So they have this house and it's powered by this candle, and then the magic kind of goes awry, and the main character has to figure out what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
That is Encanto in a nutshell without any spoilers. I do my best.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one for sure. And man, I love the Disney Plus stuff. Like, there was a lot of talk recently about that other Pixar movie that's going to Disney Plus recently. I think it's called Turning Red, the
Yes,
one
my
about the
daughter's
big
very
red
excited.
panda. Yeah, I'm very excited about it too. But yeah, like I'm one that's happy about it. You know, I don't have to pay to go to the movies to take my son or my wife or my daughter to the movies. Not that it's a bad thing, but if I can stay at home, watch movies on Disney Plus, kids movies especially, you know, my son can run around and be a kid. I think that's great.
Yeah, I agree, and it's just I think it's easier for the kids movies. Plus, I think as a kid, and even as a because I've watched it twice this week while I watched
Nice.
Encanto twice, but kids generally want to watch something like back to back, so it's easy for that too.
What was wrong with The Last Duel?
Before I do that,
Okay.
Juan says Pest is the first movie he saw, John Leguizamo, and I'm so glad someone else remembers the movie The Pest. I love that dumb movie. It's fantastic. Also, Cindy is right. They were Colombian. That was my mistake. In Encanto, they're Colombian. What was wrong with The Last Duel? It's hard to explain without spoiling it, but it's a very touchy subject for what it is. It's about sexual assault,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very graphic, and I don't know if we needed it to be that graphic. I don't think that we did, and that kind of bothered me. And I love Ben Affleck. He's one of my favorite actors. I don't think him as a count or whatever the hell he was in the 13th century in France
Yeah.
was what I needed to see. Because when he speaks, he kind of sounds like a mixture of himself and kind of the way he sounds in Geely or something. Something is weird there.
You love Gigli.
I didn't love Geely. I liked Geely. I didn't think it was that bad. But yeah, Affleck is one of the worst things in this movie.
From the trailer that I saw, however long ago that was, just seeing Ben Affleck in that trailer with that weird haircut, it just felt weird. It just like, what are you doing in this movie? Like, you don't seem like you should be cast in this movie.
Well, so the haircut and the beard kind of sold me because, like, man, I need to see what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm in. It's kind of like when I see like Nicolas Cage do something crazy. Well, I got to see that.
That's right.
Or like you hear Tom Cruise is doing some kind of stunt where he's running on like a airplane while he's parachuting off of it at the same time. You have to watch things like that, or I do.
So one of the big interesting thing that I think from a lot of people that I'm seeing, trusted people, Zeddy, Nico, you, and I think somebody else on Twitter is saying that they didn't like this movie. Directed by Ridley Scott, he also did House of Gucci, which also, from your reviews, Zeddy and Nico's reviews, isn't the most well put together movie. What do you think about the Ridley Scott factor of directing, producing movies going forward? He's obviously much older in age than he was when he was making good movies, back in the 80s, late 70s, that kind of thing. But he is still, like, he has a name. Like, you hear Ridley Scott, you almost just think to yourself, oh, he's a good director. Sure, it's Ridley Scott, right? What are your thoughts about Ridley Scott going forward, in, I guess, the year of 2021 and beyond?
I think like any great director, he's just aging. And also like any director, period, you're going to have some hits and you're going to have some not so great movies. Now, The Last Duel, I don't think falls into that not so great. It's just an uncomfortable movie that I don't need to see again. It was good, but I don't need to see it again. Whereas House of Gucci, from my understanding, is one of those that it was a complete miss for people. Not just with the story itself, but also with the cast. Like, our friends over at the Vigilante, they love to talk about Jared Leto's accent. And I've actually seen a clip of it, and it is exactly as they say it is. Which is hilarious. He sounds like one of the Mario brothers. It's amazing.
Yeah, what do they call him? Cousin Morbio? They mix
Morbio.
Jared Leto, his character in House of Gucci with Morbius, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, if they made a Morbio movie, I'm there, day one. But I think that he's just bound for some losses, and his attitude toward things is not good.
Right.
He wanted to blame all kinds of stuff for the last duel, except
Mm-hmm.
a very important factor. I don't know how to say this gently, but the last duel, is about sexual assault. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you're going to get droves of people to see that,
Mm-hmm.
especially the way it's presented here. Now, I will say that the message of it works toward the end, but still. So he's just aging, man. You're going to have hits and misses, and when you're more vocal, people are going to pay more attention to your track record. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree with that last part again for sure. And it's funny thinking about older directors who, their prime has long passed them. But when you think about Steven Spielberg and West Side Story that came out in December, and it's getting the ravest of reviews for the way it handled its material from an older context, that kind of thing. I wonder about an aging director, but I think it's more like you were saying, Chris. Scott is putting himself more out there in a negative sense, whereas he's in the news more. So maybe that's affecting the way people are seeing him or seeing his movies going forward, which is a shame. Obviously, Ridley Scott can say whatever he wants. I think he's earned that sense.
Mhm.
But if you're obviously, if you're talking about everything in a negative connotation, if you're blaming something for why one of your movies isn't doing well, it's just not a good look. I don't think.
It's not. It's not. And I don't think that it's. Yes, you have earned the right to speak your opinion. I mean, everybody has the right to speak their opinion. And being Ridley Scott, who he is in the world of Hollywood,
Yeah.
he has just as much say so in things, I'm sure, as Mark Scorsese does.
Hmm.
But at the same time, Scorsese continuously puts out quality.
Sure.
If he wants to say Marvel is not cinema, that's up to him. But at the same time, I think, well, his movies are pretty good.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, who even cares what other people think? Like what you like.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's for sure. You can say whatever you want as long as you back it up. As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
and if you're not hurting anybody, as well. I'm glad you talked about that you read Superman or Spider-Man Blue,
Mhm.
because I'm going to be getting into that soon. And something that I read this week was Daredevil Yellow,
Ah,
with the Loeb and Sale stuff. So I have all of the color series in either single issue form, or I have the Captain America white in a little hardcover. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this stuff, and I'm mostly excited because the more you read comics, the more you realize you don't know anything. I'm just talking about myself here. So the more I read in comics, the more I have no idea about comics.
I know
Um, you
everything.
know, yeah, like I read Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Haunted Night, all of Tim Sale Loeb stuff when I was, as I was buying them when I was a little bit younger than I am now, not realizing that these two people haven't just written Batman before. They've
Mhm.
written other stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, and my very limited knowledge about Marvel comics in general, I had no idea these series existed. Um, I wanted to say until maybe 6 months ago. And so it's really interesting now reading them. Again, about my limited knowledge in Marvel comics, but also I guess my limited knowledge about Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb as well. I really don't know much about anything that they've done other than their big stuff like Long Halloween and Dark Victory, all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting getting into this stuff, and seeing a different side of characters that I think I know a little bit of. Like Daredevil, I've seen the TV show on
Mhm.
Netflix, and I've read the new stuff from Zdarsky. But I haven't read any of the big stuff. I've read a little bit of the Bendis run just because I was curious. So what do you think about that, Chris? Like you said you read Spider-Man Blue. Were you always aware of the Sale and Loeb color series?
Yes. So I'd actually read the first issue of Spider-Man Blue years ago. I read it a long time ago, and I liked it, but I didn't really. I forgot why, but I didn't finish it. And so I also knew there was the Daredevil. No, I didn't know there was Daredevil. I'm sorry. I knew there was the Hulk book, but I don't care about Hulk really. I'm not a big Hulk fan.
Right.
I don't smash. So not into that. And the Captain America book though is I didn't know about that too, but Daredevil
Mhm.
was the one that Zeddy actually told me about the other night,
Mm.
and so that is next on my list. But as far as like Globe goes, like you, I love the DC stuff he
Yeah.
puts out there. Absolutely love it. I didn't know that he had great stuff on the other end of the aisle too,
Hmm.
because Spider-Man Blue was fantastic. I really like that a lot, and he goes into so Spider-Man Blue. For those who don't know, is after the death of Gwen Stacy, and it's Peter dealing with that and kind of seeing the start of their relationship and how everything went. So that was pretty cool. But it's a very heavy subject, and so the Spider-Man stuff in it is not. So the
Mm.
way Loeb is able to balance the two things between sad Peter and Peter in the suit cracking jokes and stuff is just really well done. For lack of a
Hmm.
better word, it's amazing. And I highly recommend Spider-Man Blue. And and the funny thing is, I never really cared to read Spider-Man books until No Way Home, which is the
Hmm.
biggest compliment I can give that movie. I watched it, and I am now reading Spider-Man comics.
A lot of what you said about Blue is a lot what I can say about Daredevil Yellow as well. Having Matt Murdock and Daredevil. One obviously wears a suit in a courtroom. One wears a suit when he's smashing up bad guys on the street. So the one thing that I got from Yellow was the duality between the two characters, but how close they were as well. The writing is outstanding. The art's just as good as the anything in the Long Halloween or Dark Victory, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interesting about the progression. You said that Spider-Man Blue is about Gwen Stacy being gone and
Mm-hmm.
how Peter's dealing with it, and that's what not to
Sort of.
spoil, yeah, not to spoil Daredevil Yellow, but it's about after Karen is gone and how Matt is dealing with that as well.
Okay.
So that's an interesting thing. Like, if this is what happens, if it's about our heroes dealing with a loss in some way, um, it plays out from the first issue all the way to the last about Matt. I don't want to say maybe saying goodbye or um, getting a last word in about Karen in some way. So the it's very meaningful. It's very sad, but it's also just damn good. And the yellow suit was also something I had no idea about as well. Daredevil yellow, obviously. I was wondering how yellow was going to be factored into the story. Um, yeah, it's a great. I'm so looking forward to read the rest of the Color series. I can't recommend it enough for any comic fan, not just a superhero fan or just somebody who reads indies. I think they're must read comic books if there is any.
Cindy is completely correct. If I can read Tynan, I can read any Batman. But yeah, I am also interested to read the Color series, especially Daredevil, because I like Daredevil anyway. And I have read some Daredevil comics. Currently, my favorite Daredevil book is actually, and this is going to be a surprise, Frank Miller stuff.
That is a surprise.
Yeah, I actually really like the Frank Miller Daredevil. I think he did a fantastic job with them. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, like you said, it's interesting to read things based off of writer and an artist, and then to branch off more than like you said. You want to read Spider-Man comics because of a
Mhm.
movie.
Right.
I want to read more Marvel comics because of certain runs by writers and artists and stuff. I want to see what else Loeb and Sale are up to if they've done anything else in Marvel, and if there's more Daredevil comics that are like this that I'd be interested in. And Lauren, our friends in the comments, mentioning about the Superman Red and Blue, and something was good for DC. The other one that makes me think of Superman from Loeb Sale is the Superman for All Seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's called that.
Mm.
I'm looking for. I keep looking on my comic shop online to see if I can get my hands on that one. Um, Another book that I was not aware of, even though it is in the DC world, that I'm really excited if I can find that to read that.
We're learning stuff every day, or weekly
Exactly.
even.
Oh, that's exactly. So I'm sticking with a theme this week for what I read and watched. So Yellow Jackets, season
Oh,
one. The season finale is tonight. It's airing in about 40 minutes. I will miss it. I will watch it tomorrow. It's a very good show. It's good. If anybody hasn't watched it, it's about a plane of a girls' team soccer team that crashes in the wilderness, and they have to live there. and all this shit happens, obviously, them living in the woods. But then it's also got present day stories about some of their survivors of the plane crash and how they're still dealing with things that happened in the woods and all that kind of stuff. It's got Juliette Lewis in it. It's got Christina Ricci in it. And they are just as you would think they are. Christina Ricci kind of has made a life, and Juliette Lewis as well has made a life out of playing, I don't want to say messed up, but strange, different, not your normal female protagonists, and they are not in this as well, and that's almost why it makes it so good. It's a great show. I can't wait for the season finale because a lot of bonkers, crazy shit is happening right now. So if anybody's not watching that, it's like Lord of the Flies, but with the female version. It's very, 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 very good, Chris. I think I told you about it once already. You probably haven't watched it because you're a crazy man. You'd watch, get backlog of things and never get caught up.
I did. I watched that whole thing between two nights. So that was surprising. I watched that whole Wolf Like Me show. That was a big deal for me.
2 nights.
Yeah, because I figured, I should leave something to watch tomorrow. So, but I split it up. Yellow Jackets is on my list, though. I didn't know what it was till you just described it. I just knew it was a cast that had something to do with the forest.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all I need.
Yeah, this one would have been a good game for you. Yellow Jackets, and the poster is like a girl crying with a bug on her face. It's like a yellow jacket. So there's no way you would have got what that show was.
No. Well, I didn't know what rain was when I read it. I had a completely different idea of what rain was.
Oh, did you read that blind?
Yes. All I went in knowing is that you liked it and Cookie Monster liked it.
Yeah. Rain's a good one because they kind of tease what's going to be happening from the start of the book until the end of the book, and then seeing what happens by the end of it. Juan on in the comments here. Those two are an amazing team, Ricci and Juliet. It's true. It's really interesting to watch. Christina Ricci is the highlight of the show for the present day stuff. She plays a character named Misty. She's just as messed up and just as fun and just as creepy as you would think that she is. It's really outstanding show.
Yes, we do allow the weekly dump, Cindy, but not
yes. Cindy is making a joke about our weekly dump topic, but no, we're not naming this show just leakage. I think that's just an afterthought on our side for sure.
It might be. I don't know.
It might be.
Maybe it was calculated. I don't know.
Yeah, calculated misstep.
Could be. What else did you read and watch?
I didn't really read much else. I read Rain, like you said, and what did I? Oh, I wanted to read something. I had it out. Oh, I read a Batman book by Azzarello and Bermejo. Death Blow After the Fire. It's a 3-issue.
I haven't read that one.
Yeah, that's another one. As much as you read comics, you have no idea about comics. It's just there's so many of them. It's a 3-issue series. It's very short. I'm not sure when it came out because it says the best-selling team behind Joker, but I feel like this was before Joker, just because it looks like just a repackage or whatever.
It might be.
It's okay. It's not bad. If it were released today, it would be a DC Black Label book, that kind of thing. Azzarello, Bermejo, or like Peanut Butter and Chocolate. They're a great team.
Sure.
If you like peanut butter and chocolate, whatever. Pick a team. They're good together. Okay. Anyways, I got this at the dollar store, Dollarama, for $3.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So nice little find. Bermejo's. Chris and I, we're talking about all the time. Bermejo's great. Really, not much else you can say. It's an okay story, though. Yeah, one of the best Batman artists for sure.
Did you see his cover for Detective this week?
Is that the one with the car outside Arkham Asylum, or the one where he's holding the girl?
The one where he's holding the kid.
Yeah, with the neon light behind him.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy that book. I don't want to read it. I just want that cover.
It's the best one so far. Yeah,
I hate doing
that. That's the thing. I don't read Detective Comics physically. I read it digitally. I'm like, but if I were to buy one and not read a book, this would be that book. Like Bermejo's covers from, I forget when he started. 1040, 1039, I can't remember.
He's been doing them for a while now.
Yeah, and I follow him on Instagram, and I almost just wait for the daily where he just updates every cover that he's done. Yeah, Zeddy's making a comment about my shirt. Yeah, I'm wearing the Vigilante 1939 shirt. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think that one with the neon light that Bermejo's doing for, if you said that's this week, might be my favorite one. He's got one coming up with Robin on it. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
It's really, really good. The colors aren't as good. Obviously, the neon light in this one, the newest one, is just incredible. It's almost one of those things you wish, or I wish I knew that he was doing the covers for Detective. So we better started at the beginning and just kept collecting them, because trying to find them now might be impossible.
Oh, well, yeah. I was gonna say though, if you just wanted to get into the story, it just started a couple of issues ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the covers have been for a while.
Shadow of the Bat or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet. I just bought a couple of the books. You know, I got my pile.
Yeah, I know you got the pile. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I didn't really watch anything else other than Lost. Still catching them. So I think I'm 3/4 of the way through season 4 right now. I watched Yellow Jackets, and that was pretty much it. I didn't read too much other than Daredevil Yellow and then Batman Death Blow After the Fire. So that's it for what I read this week.
Are you ahead of Grabs on Lost now?
Where is he? Grabs, where are you on Lost? Let me know in the comments, man. I'll let you know. Yeah, season 4. There are a lot of weird stuff happening. Flash forwards, flashbacks, all that kind of stuff. So that's it for the weekly dump. What we watched, what we read.
Maybe we should change that.
Yeah, well, I exemplified the dump this time, so maybe that was why. Just because Cindy said something, I won't do that next time.
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't sound the best. We'll come up with something next week, maybe.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, this is all a work in progress. Just stare at the dots, guys.
Yeah, that's right. So, guys, if is there anything else you read, watched, let us know in the comments. Hit us up and let us know. As for the second topic of our show tonight, and that would be the poll, our weekly poll, which you can find on our Twitter account, G of the Geeks on Twitter. So this week we wanted to know kind of about your what if for Spider-Man movies. He's the king of the MCU, thanks to No Way Home. But if you could go back and get one of these films made, which would it be? Would it be Raimi's Spider-Man 4 or The Amazing Spider-Man 3? Chris, what would you have picked if you were to choose an option in this poll?
I would have went with Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 3. I think it was Zeddy who said in the comments that we had a really good picture of where Tobey's Spider-Man was going, so that story's like wrapped up. Whereas Andrew Garfield, we don't know where he was going to go. We only know where he was going now.
Right.
After a certain film was released. So I'd definitely like to see that and throw in Venom or something. Or have him appear in the Venom movie. Let's do that.
The big thing that I was seeing, that people just want more Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I think that's the thing. I think, I don't think those movies were appreciated when they came out. They were kind of laughed at and joked at how, specifically the second one tried to do too much, tried to build too fast into the Sinister Six, all that kind of stuff. But going back now, I think they're getting a lot more praise, and deservedly so. They're my favorites of the Spider-Man movies, just those two, 1 and 2. I like them more than the Tobey Raimi movies. So that would be my pick too, would be the Amazing Spider-Man 3, just to see what else they could do. They had so many interesting characters. See what happened with the Green Goblin, and see what actually happened with that Sinister Six, what they were going to build towards. I think that was the biggest thing, is that they were building towards something. And it felt like by 3, like you were saying, we kind of knew what was going to be happening with Tobey. And that's the biggest thing for me, is just I like those movies right away when they were coming out. Mm-hmm. I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He's my Peter Parker. So I of course want to see more of him going forward. And I wonder about that idea of bringing him back now. I wonder if that would work. You say in a Venom movie, what's the idea behind that?
Well, I think that we are now getting, or maybe we already are, in a period where people can accept there's 2 versions and 2 universes of the same character. I think that's just something we're all going to, whether we like it or not, we'll be accepting this year. And so I think with that, thought in mind, having Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, maybe not give him his own solo franchise, because that could be problematic for Sony. But to stick him in like a Venom movie, and he gets that last hurrah, and also he gets to fight an alien, I think that might be cool. And it just seems like something you'd want to do, because who does not want to see Venom and Spider-Man? And I think Spider-Man 3 was not the most satisfying version of that we could have had. I don't hate the movie. I really don't. I think it's got some good stuff in it. I don't even think Toby dancing is the worst part. I will always stand by the worst
That's
scene
not the
in that.
worst part?
No, the worst scene to me, the worst scene in that movie is actually when Harry and Mary Jane are dancing in the kitchen.
Oh, they're making breakfast or something stupid?
They're making breakfast or whatever the hell they were doing, and they're playing the twist. Like, you guys are like 30 some, or maybe late 20 somethings. I don't imagine this is what you're doing in the kitchen, listening to this and doing the twist. It's just a weird thing, and it was very cringy. I hate it. But that to me is the worst scene in the movie. And so, but the Venom stuff wasn't bad in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people did not like the look of him, which I get. He just looked like black suit Spider-Man with some teeth. But I think that there's room for improvement, of course.
Yeah, I thought the Venom stuff was all right. That wouldn't be my one of the worst things either that I would say. I like the Venom stuff, and the church scene. I thought I thought that was great.
And I like Topher Grace. I know that's going to get me stoned or something. Somebody's going to throw a stone at me, but I like Topher Grace.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, they added the stuff with Gwen Stacy, that kind of stuff. What do you think about that inclusion of her, and Mary Jane in the same kind of movie?
I always forget Gwen Stacy's in it.
Yeah, that's right. It's Bryce Dallas Howard.
I completely
Gwen
forget
Stacy.
That. She's not used well. She's just kind of used as a foil for Mary Jane, and it doesn't work for me. But again, it's forgettable, so it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that both movies, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, almost tried to do too much. Too many characters, I think. Venom and Sandman, Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane, and then and stupid Harry or Franco is Harry Osborn, which I think I agree with you. That dance scene in the kitchen is worse. I think James Franco in that movie is the worst part of that movie. I don't think he's a good Harry Osborn at all, but that's another conversation altogether. So guys, what do you think in the comments, or even just let us know on that Twitter account if you haven't voted already? You can't vote now, but you can just let us know. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see more Andrew or more Toby? Or and I wonder about seeing No Way Home now. Do you think that makes a difference what we see now? Like if they were to actually make another one, do you think people would be satisfied with having the Toby stuff and saying, okay, that's enough of Toby? And maybe because Andrew's a little bit younger, what do you think after No Way Home? What people would want to see? What do you want to see, Chris?
Well, I think Grabs is right here with this comment. If you put out a good movie, it doesn't matter if there's 19 universes. Mm-hmm. I believe he's absolutely right, because how many Batman movies are we going to watch? As many as they make, Exactly. I will watch as many as they put out there. Same thing with like Spider-Man, Captain America. I'm there. Yeah. So, I think that No Way Home does change things, because you get like I said earlier. I think we had enough of Toby to begin with, because his story was closed. We got it. He was going to ride off into the sunset or swing, whatever the hell he's going to do. And then Andrew Garfield also kind of gets a little bit of his story wrapped up, now. But I'd still like to see it. Like to see him again. And I think that's what's going to fuel a lot of fans, because a lot of them seem to feel the same way. We got the Raimi stuff. We're good. Andrew got shortchanged. Give us at least one more performance. And even
it'll be. No, go ahead.
I say his enthusiasm for the role is really cool. I love seeing actors be excited about these movies, like Leslie Grace or even Ezra Miller. The way he talks about the Flash, the way Chris Evans loves Captain America, and it goes on. I love seeing that kind of enthusiasm, and so he has that for Spider-Man. So why not give him another shot if he wants to do it? Especially when you have these two separate universes. You have the MCU, which he's not allowed in, I guess. And you have the Sonyverse, where anything really goes there. We have a Morbius movie coming. Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah, I think that's right. Anything goes, and
it's Cavill. Cindy's right. Cavill does love The Witcher as well. Henry Cavill loves The Witcher. And I love him doing The Witcher.
There's more than one Spider-Man, and there's been more than one Spider-Man for a very long time.
Yep.
I think it does make sense that there can be more than one Spider-Man on the screen, because at the end of the day, like the general audience, all they see is Spider-Man. They don't see Ben Riley or Miles Morales or Peter Parker. They just see a guy in a Spider-Man suit. I think that's the whole idea behind even the creation of the character. He's covered all the way. He's got a mask and a full body suit. He's just Spider-Man. So he can be anyone. So having more than one Spider-Man on the screen at the same time just makes sense to me. Having an Amazing Spider-Man or a Superior Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man series, and then the MCU stuff, I think makes total sense. And for everyone involved, the studio, Sony, Marvel, Disney, it's just going to mean more money.
And there's also Into the Spider-Verse that's coming. So we already have multiple on screen at one time anyway, so why not?
I agree 100%. And if it means more Andrew Garfield in general, that's great because he's an outstanding actor who deserves more fame, notoriety if he doesn't have enough already. Because he had a great year in 2021.
He did. He really did.
Tick Tick Boom and No Way Home. The
And
little he
Eyes of
was in
Tammy
No Way
Faye.
Home. Yeah, so he was big this year, and I hope it means more for him. I hope it means great success for him.
So Grabs says, of course, there can be more than one, but we are not paying to make the movies. Fear of past failures is a real in movie business. He's right there. So I'm just going to start donating checks to Sony and whichever company I want them to make the movies of. he is right. I mean, as fans, we could spitball and hope and do whatever we want, but it really comes down to money for these studios and if they think they could turn a profit, and hopefully they would be able to.
I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be able to, considering what No Way Home has done by itself. And I wonder about the first Spider-Verse movie didn't make a ton of change at the box office, but I expect the part 2 and part 3 to be huge. So, and Miles Morales is awesome.
I kind of want him in live action though.
That's a interesting thing going forward is how they work that into it. They kind of already have, like, they made Tom Holland's version just like Miles Morales in it. They gave him the same kind of friend like Genki, Miles' friend in the comic books and even in the video game. That's basically Ned. So I wonder how, like, Tom Holland and Miles Morales, I don't think that would work. Miles Morales and Andrew Garfield would be awesome. That kind of thing. But yeah, that's what I want more. I would want more Spider-Man. He's the best, one of the best superheroes ever, if not, top of the list, top 1 or 2. So having more, yes, as a fan, sure, I want it. Why not? Just like Vigilante Boys always say, I'm greedy and that's okay. I can want what I want and give me all of it, all of the things.
Gordon Gekko does say greed is good.
Yeah, greed is good. That's right.
Gordon Gekko is a smart man.
So that's the poll from last week, guys, about Spider-Man movies. We got a new one up on the Twitter account right now. It's a little bit of a, I don't want to say it's niche because Star Wars and Star Trek are two of the biggest sci-fi franchises ever. But what do you think is best? What do you like better? Do you like Star Trek or Star Wars? Chris was asking me earlier what the poll of the week should be, and he actually mentioned Star Wars and Star Trek, and I thought it was interesting. I thought to myself that how they are both blossoming, blooming, growing on TV right now, whereas they're working out the movie side of things. Obviously Book of Boba Fett's on. Mandalorian was the biggest show in the entire world. We've got the Andor show. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Star Trek side, there's Star Trek Discovery. There's Lower Decks. There's Strange Worlds, I think it's called. There's Strange New Worlds. I can't remember. And then there's the Picard show as well. So like the Star shows haven't been bigger than they are right now. And it's on TV, which is, crazy to think when both of those franchises were created a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that they would ever be as big as they are on TV. It's also interesting about the bringing back of old characters. With Picard and with Boba Fett. Two old dudes back leading their own franchise or TV shows. So hit us up in the Twitter our Twitter poll, guys. Let us know what you think about that one. Juan's got a great comment here about which group is nerdier, Star Wars fans or Star Trek fans. I think it's Star Trek fans. They have a name. You call them Trekkies. What do you call a nerd who is a fan of Star Wars? They don't have a name.
They should, though.
I think they sure they should. Oh, absolutely.
Well, actually, there's a religion of it's Jedi. You could put that down as a religion. So you got that.
Eric Summers in the comments also makes a comment about shame Dune wasn't a third choice. Chris and I talked about that, about maybe we should have talked about it. But when you think about it, Dune in pop culture is the books and now 2 movies. Star Trek is multiple movies, multiple TV shows, comics, video games, more and more and more. So I agree that in the science fiction realm, Dune should be as big. It should be, the Lord of the Rings aspect of it, the size of it, that kind of thing. It should be as big, but it's just not right now, I don't think. So that's the poll of the week, guys. Let us know what you think. Make sure you vote in the poll. As for the main topic of the show, that's leakage, guys. And that's studio leakage. The group of guys, I not our leakage. Chris and I were doing just fine. Okay, thanks for being concerned about our whatever. So Chris and I, along with Nico and Zeddy, have a little bit of group chat, and we've been talking about the Batgirl filming, the Batgirl suit for what felt like 2 weeks, maybe more than that.
I think it was about 2 weeks.
There's a Twitter account that's just called the Batgirl Film News, I think, that posts pictures of TV sets or sets from streets, all that kind of stuff. Chris knows a gentleman who lives over there, who was talking about Batgirl in general. And suit reveals are a big thing. In specific, I don't know if it's the same for Marvel, but it's specifically in the DC realm.
Well, Marvel is better at filming outdoors. I think that's the thing, because I don't remember them having outdoor leaks recently. I think the most, I could be wrong, but Age of Ultron is the last one I remember that was big. But I know we've seen some, like Miss Marvel had some outdoor shooting, and we saw the costume because of that. But I'm pretty sure it was Age of Ultron, which had the worst of the Marvel movies.
So it's an interesting thing about studio leaks. Studio leaks on purpose. Studio leaks by accident. What do we think about not official photos being released into the world, into the Twitterverse, into anywhere where people can see it? Do you think official photos are mandatory? Do you think they're required? Do you care about leaks? Do you care about knowing things before the official thing comes out? One of the biggest things we saw from the Flash shots were that there looked like there were 2 Ezras. One that was dressing the same as him, looked like a different guy, and obviously they just redid his face for what we see in that teaser trailer from Fandom, that there is 2 Barrys. And at the time, we weren't really sure, but we saw Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne on the steps. We saw Ben Affleck, his stunt double, riding the motorcycle. We've seen things, whether it's official or not. There is lots of leaks around both studios, Marvel, DC, anybody. Chris, what do you think about leaks? Do you care? Do you want to know before something's official? Obviously, like I said, we spent 2 weeks talking about the Batgirl suit, when it was going to be released. We were excited about it. It came out, and we were still excited about it. So I guess it really didn't matter that we wanted to see the leaks, because we still got an official photo in the end. So what's your overall thoughts about studio leaks?
To be honest, usually with all things. Usually I prefer to avoid leaks like the plague. I really don't like leaks because I don't like spoilers. But when it's something like a costume, I honestly don't care. When it's like it's fine, because we're going to see a costume in a trailer or an official photo anyway. I don't mind. Now, when it comes to something where it's a plot point that we don't need to see, then that I don't like. I don't think it's necessary to see that. And some of these set pictures will show too much. But at the same time, I like to believe the studios won't film blatant spoilers outdoors. And I don't think they have for the most part. I feel like the Batman, there's really only a couple of sequences that were outdoors, and I don't think it was anything spoilery. We've seen in the trailers. And in the case of something like Batgirl, we just know that there's not really a WB is not the best with putting out really good official photos before a set leak. You know, and so that's why, like I that is the most I've ever cared about set photos because I was just wanting to see the Batgirl suit. And now that I've seen the Batgirl suit, I have no interest in any other set photos. I don't care. I don't want to see them. That's kind of the way I am with them.
Yeah, this was just a special instance for all of us. Like I said, because you and I and Nico and Zeddy were just really excited about seeing Leslie Grace in the suit. There was pictures of like a poster or posters on the streets and all that kind of stuff. And again, I didn't really care about that stuff either. I just wanted to see what she looked like in the suit, whether it was a crappy, shadowy um, behind the scenes picture where she's hidden holding an umbrella and covered in a hoodie or whatever. I don't really care about that stuff. And, I don't really care about spoilers at this point. I knew what happened in No Way Home before I saw No Way Home. And I don't think it affected um, my enjoyment or my lack of enjoyment of the movie. Um, I always thought that spoilers don't matter because you don't ever just watch a movie once and then not think about it and then not watch it again. What happens the second time you watch a movie. I don't think that hurts the movie, knowing what's going to happen. Knowing what something looks like, that's a little bit different, maybe. A suit pick or Ben Affleck stunt, the motorcycle. Like, it's interesting. We know what the motorcycle looks like now, and I wonder what it would feel like if we didn't know that he was even on a motorcycle and we only saw that in the movie. It's an interesting thing about being more excited about something in the movie theater the first time you see it. But having already seen him on that motorcycle, how can I not be excited for it now?
Yeah, and I think that's some of it too. And Zeddy makes a great point that I think some studios like the leaks because it makes the conversation, it makes a trend. Those because if you look at Twitter over the last 2 weeks or so, the Batgirl movie has been trending almost nonstop, and we weren't seeing anything in these videos or pictures. It was just, hey, look at this wall, look at that wall, look at this sign, and that's fine. But I think if WB or Marvel or whoever really cared, they would find better ways around these things. Now, there are other kinds of leaks, like the stuff with No Way Home should have never leaked. And that's really the way I feel about it. That stuff should not have gotten out. And like John Campia, is that how you pronounce his name?
Campia.
Whatever. That guy, that strange man. Him leaking those pictures was such a shitty thing to do. That took I mean, there were things in that movie that we kind of knew, maybe not guaranteed, but we knew. And so to take that away from people, like Cookie mentions, she wants that wow moment, and I agree. And doing stuff like that takes that away because there's certain things we can know going into a film. We see the trailers, we know like Batman's gonna yell at somebody, he's gonna beat the crap out of something. He's got multiple vehicles so they could sell toys, but then there's still gonna be a wow moment in there somewhere. And that is what needs to be preserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the studios do know what they're doing. That hurts me a little bit to say. I think they do
Juan is
know
right too, by the way.
where they're filming, how they're filming, and what will be seen. I don't think it's a coincidence that from what we saw in the little of the Batman stuff, all we really saw was some stunt people on some motorcycles. We saw John Turturro, Pattinson, Colin Farrell's Oswald walking down some steps with Zoe Kravitz, I think. Same with the Flash. We saw some people walking and doing things, and then the car chase, motorcycle chase scene. It seems like the biggest stuff happens behind the scenes. Like they show. I like to think that they're showing us what they think we want to see, just to, like I said, create a buzz, create a conversation.
And it works.
It works exactly. It's not like we're not talking about it right now, and like you said, it has been trending. People have been talking about it. People were eager to see the suit, and then or Batgirl suit when it came out, and then it was the topic of conversation for a little while. And the stuff with No Way Home, the worst kept secret in Hollywood, whether or not Garfield or Toby were in the movie. Sony Marvel are still really aren't saying that they're in the movie.
Or
Like
they're
there's no
not moving
posters.
posts.
Yeah.
This coming from Grabs is interesting too. I still haven't seen No Way Home and Know Nothing. I think because most are a little too connected, and he is right about that too. I think we as geeks, nerds, whatever you want to call it, we are really dialed into everything that's going on in these productions because we're so excited for them. It's hard to look away from, hey, look at this leak or look at that, and that is a valid point. A lot of people are able to just kind of brush it off and don't even pay attention to it, or they're not aware of it. Like there's got to be people who aren't aware that a Batgirl movie is being filmed, or
Yep.
that aren't aware of Aquaman coming out at the end of the year, or The Flash, and so on.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing about holding things back until you're in, if you just want to be excited. You've talked about how you don't want to see any more the Batman trailers.
Right.
You haven't watched the Bat and the Cat one. You've seen enough, and I think that at a certain point we have seen enough for the Batman. And I think that's a point for any movie.
It is.
The MCU movies. Endgame at a point had 2 or 3 trailers. We didn't need 2 or 3 trailers. We needed 1 trailer, and that was it. Same with. I wonder if there was the same for No Way Home. I'd have to go back and remember about the No Way Home trailers.
The second, actually, I didn't watch the last one, so I don't know.
Okay.
Like for No Way Home, I only watched the first 2. I know they had that third one that came out like right before the movie. I didn't watch that. Now, I don't even think I watched more than 1 Endgame trailer. I might have only watched the one. It's funny. I was, watching set pictures avidly the last 2 weeks, but I won't watch trailers. So go figure.
Well, it's with pictures, you can put your own context on it.
That too, we don't know any context.
That with trailers, there's the context is what the trailer is telling us, and in a lot of cases, that's usually a lie. When you think about the MCU stuff and Infinity War, there's the famous shot from the trailer where Captain America, the Hulk, and a whole bunch of people in Bucky are running, and that's not in the movie at all. So these studios, I like to think that they're smart people and they know what they're doing. They know what they're showing us and want to show us, and there's stuff that they won't show us as well. Like I don't think it's a coincidence that we haven't seen Michael Keaton in a bat suit yet. We've seen the Flash in his brand new suit. We've seen now Batgirl in a brand new suit, and we have not seen Michael Keaton in a bat suit. I think they're holding on to that one. I wonder if we see it in a trailer. Even the stuff with Dwayne Johnson, the Black Adam.
Oh yeah.
The production went all the way along. All we saw was some pictures of rocks, not the rock, but like rocks and rubble. Like there was we didn't hardly see anything from that, and we only did start to see some stuff. I think maybe a week or so before Fandom.
Yeah, and they weren't really anything gigantic, so that was cool too.
And I don't think that's a coincidence. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in control of his movies. He's always a producing partner. His $7 production, they are involved in the production of it, and they decide what gets to be shown and what's not shown. And we still really haven't seen a great picture of him in the suit either. We saw a little bit in that teaser where he's getting shot at with the guns, but then it ends right away. So I think they know, the studios know about leaks. They want leaks sometimes, and sometimes they don't want them to. And sometimes when they don't want them and it does get released, like stupid Tom Holland or Mark Ruffalo saying that everyone's just dead in Infinity War, that stuff works for their favor too, because people are just talking about it.
Yeah, it creates a buzz, and that's at the end of the day, they need that buzz for people to go see these movies. So I think some of these are intentional, but then I think some are just unfortunate in a way. When a spoiler gets through, or something like what happened with No Way Home, things like that just shouldn't happen. But like a picture of like the Batgirl suit, fine, or a bat suit, fine. That's kind of, I guess, my thing.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we were just excited about the Batgirl suit in general. We're not, we don't, we're not going to scour through with a magnifying glass looking at the streets of Gotham.
I couldn't care less.
But it's an interesting thing, how everyone seemed to be talking. No, not everyone. People in my Twitterverse were talking about the Batgirl suit and the Batgirl pictures, behind the scenes stuff. And I expect that to be going forward when we get more stuff filmed. It's interesting that most of the DC stuff is done filming now for a little while. Shazam 2 is done. Aquaman 2 is done.
Isn't
The
that
Batman
cool?
is done. Black Adam is done.
The Flash.
The only thing filming right now is Batgirl, and it's supposed to come out this year, later in the year. So it's an interesting thing. It is. It's interesting in a way. It's also kind of scary that after Batgirl, all we'll be talking about is movies that are coming out, not being filmed, which is an interesting thing. There's usually a rotation, something like that. So it's interesting.
It is. It's a very interesting thing when you think about it that way. And just the amount, like we talked about last week, but the amount of content we're getting this year is staggering.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah, for sure. So we've already had some comments about leakage, studio leakage. Let us know, guys, what you think on the Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter at GOTG Geeks. I just want to say hey to Mason Comics and Crosses in the comments there. Thanks so much for coming along. We've got Lauren in the comments as well, who jumped on just a little while ago. Chris, I think it's going to wrap it up for us, man.
I think
you got anything else going on you want to talk about, or just do your plugs? We'll head on out of here.
You excited for anything next week?
Not that I can think of. Everyone's talking about Scream. I wish I was able to see it. Yeah. Chris, did you see it, or are you going to see it?
I really want to see it, but I'm going to wait a little bit. I might see it this week, though. I'm a big Scream fan.
I know. It's really upsetting. I hate that the theaters are closed here. I wish I would be going to see it for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe I'll get to it this week.
Yeah, as for stuff, like I said, I'll be watching the Yellow Jack season finale probably tomorrow. As for comics, I'm not really sure. I think there is one that's coming out next week, and that's The Last Book You'll Ever Read, number 5. The story from Cullen Bunn is just bananas and crazy. So I'm looking forward to that, and also Primordial number 5, number 4, number 5. I can't remember. Let me just take a quick here. Number 5. It's the penultimate issue. I'm really hoping that we're really building towards somewhere. We're really getting somewhere, because the series looks really good from his art from Sorrentino, but I'm just waiting for that story to pick up. And I'm hoping, I think I've mentioned this on a couple of shows that I've been on recently, I hope it reads really well as a collected issue.
I think it will.
Collected all together. Yeah.
I think that it will, because I actually gave up on it for right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for
That's fair. Even I understand that for sure.
Yeah, like I read Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer number 2 this week, which I was really excited about. And I don't want to read anymore. I'm done.
Oh no.
That was a massive disappointment. I'm good. I might pick it up when it's a trade. I'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any comics I'm looking forward to this week off the top of my head. I'm really only looking forward to a trailer. Tomorrow, that's about it.
Right. Yes. The Moon Knight trailer. Do you know what time it's coming out? Something to do with football and...
I'm just going to wait till... I'm going to be up at 7 a.m. just watching the Disney Plus. No, it comes on during some football game.
So, yeah, it's Monday, Friday. So I assume it's Monday Night Football.
Maybe we might do an impromptu live show.
That Chris is just making that up as he's going along.
I am, and it's wonderful.
I think, and number 7, Moon Knight number 7, I think comes out this week too.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I think it does. So a little bit of Moon Knight. Yeah, Chris is very excited for Moon Knight. I'm excited for Chris. I'm also a little bit scared too, because there was some stuff in that short little teaser that even had you scratching your head about what was happening. Yeah,
I'm very curious about certain aspects of it, but I decided earlier I'm not going to say a lot about it tonight, because I know I get very excited, and I'd rather wait till I see the full trailer.
So it's also exciting that Moon Knight is probably for sure then the next Disney Plus show. I think that makes sense, that we haven't seen a trailer for Miss Marvel or whatever the other one is.
Oh, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. So yeah, that should be fun. We should get a release date probably sometime in February, I would think.
Grab says the game is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central.
8 o'clock Eastern. Thank you, sir.
So that means the trailer will probably be 8 Central, 9 Eastern, if I had to guess. Or maybe halftime.
Yeah.
So they're going to make me wait.
Yeah, Central. Yeah, that's right.
Not cool, bro. Not cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what's up to Cookie Monster. Wanted to talk about Euphoria in the comments. You mentioned it on our Twitter accounts, and I think Juan was going to back her up on that. So Big shout out to the Euphoria fans. And I also want to apologize for last week. I thought that Netflix show with Zidania and John David Washington called Mark and Somebody.
Malcolm
It's
and
a
Marie.
black and white show. What's that?
Malcolm and Marie.
Malcolm and Marie. I thought that was Euphoria. But
I gotta
it's
double check. Is
not.
that what it's called?
Mark, it's Mark and Mindy. Well, not Mark and Mindy.
Mark and the Funky Bunch. Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Mark and the Funky Bunch. Anyway, so I confused one Zidania project for another Zidania
Yes,
project. So I
Malcolm.
want to
Malcolm and
apologize
Marie.
for that. So Euphoria. My wife has been meaning to watch that. Yes, thank you. I'm confused myself. And I also, if you can let me know, Cookie, my daughter is 13. Can she watch? Should she watch Euphoria? I'm not so much concerned about the should or the could, but maybe the should. Is it a show for young girls to, I don't know, whatever.
I was under the impression it was very adult.
Okay. I have no idea.
I was thinking about starting it also just because I was going through HBO Max and it was on there. I was like, well, all I have now to watch is Succession, which is great, but I'm still like plowing through that and it takes me some time.
All right. So Cookie and Juan both say nope. So that's good enough for me. But I've heard it's very, very good. I know my wife is interested into watching it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else exciting to watch. Chris is just going to gush all week about Moon Knight. And we'll see what happens if we have to do an impromptu live show just for Chris to explode on the screen and just freak out. Then we will do that.
I think that was a good like Nick Cage impression just now.
Yeah, that's right.
Whoa, it was great. Okay, we'll see. Maybe we'll see. It depends what time it's on, or and how many times I watch it before we want to do it.
If you want to watch it and do the show, or you just want to keep watching the trailer over and over
I might
again,
just do that. Yeah. I did watch the 15-second one a gross amount of times. Why?
Okay, Chris, give me some plugs there, man.
So before I plug myself, we have some people in the comments I actually want to plug a bit. So Grabs is a good friend of ours. He has started a new YouTube channel where he is going to be going through his budget for comics and toys every month. And I guess he's going to teach us how to budget too. So if you guys can, please check out Grabs' YouTube channel. If you can, Grabs, put the URL and we'll include it in the comments or the description of the video. And also, I saw Mason was in here earlier. Mason is Comics and Crosses, and he just started his own show as well. It's a morning show. So you guys need to go ahead and check out Comics and Crosses on Twitter and YouTube and do that, please. They're good guys, Mason and Grabs. As for me, my plugs are you can follow me on Twitter at thatchris70. You can also follow us on Twitter at GOTG Geeks. And that's all I got. I've talked enough tonight.
You can follow me at Emmet Davis7 on Twitter. And like Chris said, just follow our show Twitter account at GOTG Geeks. In our bio, we have our all of our shows. You can be found on our link tree right there. And as well, the podcast version of this show and all the other shows that we will be doing is available wherever you can get your podcast. Last week, I kind of fumbled our end of the show outros because we didn't really have anywhere for our podcast to go. We didn't even have any shows on the YouTube channel yet. So it's all there. Anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. In saying all that, for Chris and myself, hashtag.
I just remembered something. Hold on. I just remembered. Also, I did. I forgot this. Zeddy and I are back doing World's Finest, where we cover Superman and Lois. So please check that out as well. Follow the Vigilante 1939 on Twitter to find it. Sorry.
In saying all that, for Chris and myself, hashtag we gather on Sundays.
We gather on Sundays.